Daniel, and I'm just a casual racer. And today I want to showcase the 610 Challenge, this monster 62-kilometer loop that is part of our Traffic Rush heavy traffic arcade mode for Assetto Corsa, part of our plan to create game modes and gamify Assetto Corsa, make it really fun. And obviously we've been working with some sim racing lounges both here in the United States and overseas, and it's actually become a massive area of business for us, is the supporting lounges with content and entirely new features. One of those is obviously Traffic Rush, and then obviously new content for Traffic Rush. And so you're going to see here, this is the starting area for the 610 Challenge. Welcome to Interstate 610, brought to you by Authentic Simulation, which is the big company which I co-own with Tyrone Hesbrook and Andre Roca, and we develop a lot of really professional, awesome content for individuals, automotive companies, actually, racetracks, racing series, and racing lounges, like Velocity Sim Racing Lounge in Houston. And so this is version 0.99. I've done a earlier version of this circuit and of this entire. You'll see we hit that car there, and we've lost our points, so I'll have to get going here in our run. But we've developed this for Velocity Sim Racing Lounges in Houston, Texas, and the big launch, the initial big launch, and anyone can come out to Velocity Lounge in Houston and try this out and meet me, and that is this Sunday. That is July 13th. July 13th, 2025. Come to Houston to the Velocity Sim Racing Lounge. I will be there to assist with the launch. I'll be gathering some media content, promotional stuff for both Velocity and Authentic Simulation. And of course, if you're around and you'd like to hit me up, I'll probably be able to spare a couple of minutes to talk to you, but also be really busy with this project. This has been an 8-9 month project. And our Authentic Simulation has grown. We've tremendously, we've hired a lot of staff. We're able to, we're doing quite well. We've had tremendous growth this year, and as a result of that, we've been able to expand our team. And even with a team of 15 to 17 people on staff full-time, plus additional contractors, this has still taken us 7 to 8 months. It is a monstrous project. There are tens of thousands of buildings. Obviously, a huge majority of those buildings are generic, but they're all in the actual locations. We obviously used some, aerial USGA data to help place buildings and things like that more quickly. But if you look at this Galleria district, every building here is a bespoke building, bespoke textures, and it's a huge part of this map. All these on-ramps and things like that. Obviously, there's some modifications. We have to keep it at 4 lanes the entire way around the map, which made a couple of the interchanges a little bit slightly modified from real life. And obviously, we have to keep the walls, the barriers up around the entire circuit so that you don't go off onto the on-ramps and get lost and stuff. But generally, we have all the on-ramps, we have all the major trackside buildings modeled, and it's just a massive project. And that was a gap I was never going to fit through. You'll see it resets the score. So we have our custom scoring UI that we can develop for any racing lounge, and so for Velocity, we've developed this one here. And really cool. We're working on our own Traffic Rush experience as well. And we've got a few ideas for some loops, but we're thinking of one based in the United States. It'll be quite a bit smaller than this because a project like this obviously has to be funded, but we do want to develop one that our members can enjoy, and then also can serve as a demo product, and even a product that, let's say, a smaller lounge or a lounge that doesn't want to drop, definitely 5 figures, even into 6 figures, these projects like this can reach. And so that's out of reach for a lot of smaller lounges, and so we want to offer something that, first of all, members, the public, you can all experience, can help serve as a demo for experiences like this that are, can fund our studio for 6 months, and then also can serve as a additional piece of content, whether they've already purchased, let's say, like the 610 Challenge, let's say Velocity's purchased this piece of content, they could also then, for a very much more reasonable fee, because it's just going to be available kind of to the open market, the open public, to any sim racing lounge, or even an individual, technically, or like if you wanted to put on an event at maybe a racetrack, or I don't know, birthday party or something like that, or an arcade. I don't know. Lots of options, but we will have that map available, and so that's a project we're working on. And of course, we're going to continue to refine the traffic rush system, and then include in our contract with like Velocity to get updates as traffic rush is improved and stuff like that. For the launch on this Sunday, I do not believe, and this is up to them, they can enable or disable it. I do not believe they'll be enabling the scoring system, which is, I'm personally a shame, but they believe it's a compatibility thing with their local lounge management system. And so that's something that they are going to be deciding whether they want to use this scoring system that you're watching right now, or more of just having it be a fun time. And perhaps they're just thinking maybe they'll do it in a phase, right? Maybe this first one will be more of a soft launch, and there won't be a... see, I keep trying to do that, and this Lamborghini will not fit to that gap. And I know better, too, because I've done enough laps, but it's so enticing. If you have a smaller car, you can make it work. Just don't think you can make it work with this Lambo. It's just a little too wide. Like if you're driving one of like the Lotuses, you can just fit. Kind of just aim right to the gap. You know, we got a lot more semis. We've worked a lot on this traffic pack as well. That's another product that we've actually had quite a bit of success with. We have almost twice as many lounges order just the traffic pack for use on their own products. Although, obviously, as we continue to grow everything, I think the overall combo package of database and scoring system and UI and custom maps, and then or obviously the included map that we're going to have soon, and everything, it's going to start being a very attractive package that we hope will entice a lot of lounges. And so maybe they won't just want the traffic pack, you know, that's optimized. They'll actually want some additional content with it, and it'll just be easier to get everything, you know, from one stop from us at Authentic. But of course, I totally understand it too. We are not kind of crazy, actually. We are very much charging commercial prices, and so it's definitely not something like individuals or even very small shops can order necessarily, even the whole package. So it's one of those things where, and I don't mean we will work with you at financing. We don't require a giant lump sum. You can pay over time. We'll do whatever we can to try to make it work for you, but obviously we have ongoing costs. I mean, just alone our studio operating cost, and this is 7 days a week, is around $600 a day, just for the staff operating costs. And that is, I think, tremendously low for the amount of staff we have. But that's also, you know, puts us out of range of, you know, hiring someone off of Facebook or something like that. Not that that's a bad thing, honestly. That's how I've got started, and we find people on Facebook all the time. Great workers. But my point is, reaching out to an individual creator, you're always going to find an awesome deal. But projects like this, a 62-kilometer map, took 15-plus people, 8 months, working 50. Every one of us put in at least 50% of our time was on this project the last 8 months. So this has just been a massive project. You know, it's just one of those things that most studios won't even be able to dedicate time, and so this is one of our goals with Authentic, is that this will be an area we can stand out in the market. And and it's one of those things where, right, I don't want to shy away from finances and stuff. I've never been one to do that. And these are the types of projects that, I mean, I have to thank Velocity for kind of taking a leap on this project with us. Something this big of a scale. That car in the ground, by the way, we've already got a fix for it. Don't worry, but it's just, I don't have that version installed right now. We did install it this morning during a meeting, but this is my home rig, and I'm just like, it's fine. I'll make a video with this. The track's the latest. Traffic pack has a couple bugs. Actually, no, the track isn't the latest. There actually is a couple of updates to the loop at the very start. There's a little bit of barriers on the edge of the on and off ramp, so you can't deviate and like go off track. That's the one difference. Yeah, but what I was saying is, Velocity, end of last year, into Q3, early Q4, 2024, they had reached out to us. They saw our Portugal Open World project and some of the other stuff I've done, and even some of the videos on this channel, and it was awesome to have them reach out. It allowed us to expand, add staff because we had to. We had a lot of talented people, but in terms of like just getting the buildings done, this is one of those projects, right, that if we hadn't added people, we'd still be working on it. So, and it was great. We had the funding and we were able to bring on people, and now we have the capability to do even more moving forward. It allowed us for our Autozi Garage series, which is our Unreal Engine Simcade racing game series that we're working on. That series had a lot of massive development because of having the staff, right? One of the projects that they could get a change of pace on. Oh, we got 2 cars here. These are the 2. So these are the 2 new cars, and they're 2 new cars. You can look in the mirror. It's an ambulance and a police car. They're 2 new cars to Traffic Pack, and we just didn't quite have the suspension set in the version of this pack, and now they're fixed in the version that we installed this morning. So super cool project. I mean, it's just so much fun to race through this, scoring points. You know, the other day we were doing a test session with myself, Tyrone, and Andre, and several other employees that we have, as I just cream another traffic car here. And we were having a test session with them, and it was just multiple, you know, we were all racing through traffic kind of as a group, and it was a lot of fun. And that's the idea that Velocity has, is kind of racing with your crew. And so there's a scene, you see the police officer pulling a car over. We have a few of those. I think there's 4 around the entire map. There's like a stalled car, there's a, you know, a wrecked car with like a ambulance behind it, you know, a lot of different things. We got this animated giant A380 flying in the sky, and it flies around, got animated balloons. I mean, we have put out all the stops, and I'm, you know, so for me, I have in terms of what this thing pushes. This thing pushes my sim rig kind of to its limit. It actually spills out of VRAM and into regular RAM just a little bit. And I have a 3080 Ti, and it maxes out the VRAM and then actually goes into the regular RAM a little bit. And it was worse before we optimized it a bit more with this latest version. So we're really like pushing. This is not something that could even run on a lot of people's average systems very well, but it's not running on people's average systems. We have the freedom when we work on these, you know, lounge projects, these sim racing center projects. You know, they have beefy, awesome PCs, and Velocity encouraged us to go for broke, and we've done that with this project to try to see what can we do. I mean, this is a monstrous, this is a 1-to-1 scale. This is all LiDAR based. This entire track is LiDAR based, LiDAR accurate surface. We have every building within like 2 or 3 blocks of the loop, and in the entire very inner city, which you can see from the distance when you're like up on the bridge and things like that, has also been created. So it's just, like I said, tens of thousands of buildings, hundreds of thousands of distinct assets, foliage, you know, details that we've had to add around this entire circuit. It is a monster, and this is in Assetto Corsa, you know, a game that dates back to 2012, engine older than that. Or excuse me, engine dating back to like around 2012, game to 2014 or so. You know, what we're able to achieve, and we're obviously leveraging custom shaders patch and content manager and other features and custom code and plugins, and we've expanded on so many things ourselves to make this possible. But it is really cool that it is even possible. And yeah, if you want to come and enjoy it, then come on down to Velocity on Sunday. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think there's gonna be a lot of people. If you want more of a chill environment, then I would say call maybe, or email, or message them, see what they're planning for the next week. I assume it'll be available to try out all week and pretty much any time moving forward. So if you don't want to be a huge crowd, then probably don't be there on Sunday. Come some other time. But if you enjoy a huge crowd and you want to be part of kind of a launch party and you have a chance to talk to me for a little bit, then yeah, show up on Sunday. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. They have really high quality. You can check it out on their Instagram and their website. But their stuff is all top notch. That without wrecking. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. I got another bus. Oh yeah, that's because I got the wrong bus installed. That was a separate down. That got fixed a while ago. coming around here. I think we're pretty much around the loop, I think, here pretty shortly. On the, you go on the shoulders, I know some people might have a question about this. You go on the shoulders, we essentially added the gravel trap code to it, so it'll slow you down and drag, so you can't just cheese it by riding on the shoulders. That's just not any fun for anybody, right? And then you just wonder if people's score is legitimate, you know. Is that, you know, 750,000 score that I got, is that legitimate score, or did somebody just ride, you know, on the shoulder the entire way? Alrighty, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention. I mean, like I said, it's just a lot of fun to race through. Got so many planned things for the future of our traffic rush product, and the different, you know, projects that we can do to develop and release, you know, for a lounge in tandem with it. So if you are a sim racing lounge, love to hear from you. Email is development@authenticsimulation.com if you're interested in that. Of course, if you are a, yeah, here we go. So we already did go around, so this is near the start. All right, cool. So that was a lap, a little more than a lap, of the 62-kilometer 610 loop, 1-to-1 scale, crazy track. Like I said, if you want to check out more of our content, we got a lot of cool stuff we're working on. Our Detroit track is going to be released here shortly for all our members. The Detroit Grand Prix circuit, we've got a really cool big update for that. If you've been in our Discord, you've been able to follow along with all the buildings we've been scratch making for that. Really pushing a high level of detail for those buildings and other trackside details for that track. And then, of course, we got lots of other projects in the works, including our own, you know, sim racing game and other stuff like that. So hopefully I'll get more videos out here. I want to try to get onto it. I'll have another video about how this weekend goes. So you'll be able to see that. I'm planning to try to get that out for next Saturday. So it'll release, you know, 6 days after the event. So it'll be cool. We'll have some trailers as well. So if you aren't subscribed as well on the Authentic YouTube channel and following us on the Instagram, and you're interested in the stuff I'm working on over at Authentic, then you should definitely subscribe. We also have a new officially licensed, two new officially licensed cars for our Tozy Garage series. Assetto Corsa will be developing for other stuff. They are exclusive licenses, so we have, you know, the full development rights for it, and we have a lot of plans. We'll see if we can get into some other games like Rennsport, Assetto Corsa Evo, Project Motor Racing, stuff like that, right? So really cool to have some more official licensed projects. You know, we worked on Belo Horizonte and the Rush SR last year, and then now this year we're going to have two cars from the same company. So yeah, I'll have a big announcement about that next week. I'm going to start working on it. So anyways, so much to talk about. I can only cover so much in a video. That's mostly just to be a reminder that this Sunday, July 13th, 2025, Velocity Sim Racing Lounge in Houston, we're launching the 610 Challenge, and I will be there. So if you want to meet me, and hit me up and we can chat for a few minutes. Love to do that. Hopefully this video is helpful and informative, but most of all, I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your week.